High School Musical, a Disney Channel original movie.
The High School Musical Marathon Sunday. Oh, shit.
The what, Max?
The Sunday High School Marathon. That's what I meant to say.
That's
Sorry,
exactly.
I messed that up. Sorry, I've got to turn my TV off now. Just had it on for that one bit. Yes, here we are. Episode
I hope it was worth it.
38. Yeah,
Woo!
it was. No, it was. Yeah, it got me hyped. Did it get you guys hyped?
So excited.
You did hear that, right? It's not just me.
Yeah.
Thank God. Whew. Love that song.
I can't imagine how loud that must have been.
It was pretty loud.
Yeah,
But
could
it wasn't-
imagine.
I'm excited to edit
was
the
short.
episode and it not pick up on the microphone at all.
That'd be alright. I tested it beforehand.
They probably had the soundtrack somewhere. You probably could have done that through your phone instead of the TV.
But I'm using my phone to chat to you guys. Can't do that, I'm
Oh, I see.
afraid. Sorry. We use Zoom to do this podcast. I only use it on my phone, so I can use my laptop to record. Because otherwise it will crash. It's not
Right, I
powerful
got you.
enough.
It can barely even record.
Oh,
Yeah, sometimes it just conks out, and we
Yeah.
record like hours, and it's all gone. We have to use the goddamn Zoom audio, which is always
Yeah.
a terrible, terrible time. Whew. How are we all doing tonight?
Yeah, doing good.
yeah, all right. Chilling.
Killing.
All good. All chilling out after a great weekend of marathoning the High School Musical movies, and also the Sharpay movie, because that exists for some reason.
Yeah. But it does.
I'd seen that film when it came out, when it first aired on Disney Channel, and I literally completely forgot it existed till we were watching the High School Musical movies again.
I didn't even know it existed. Max, did you know it was a film?
I had no idea. No.
Okay.
Came out,
I'm glad
yeah.
I'm not the only one.
Anyway, let's not talk about that just yet, because got some thoughts on that.
Not yet.
At least a couple of thoughts. Oh dear. So I was going to say, I've got my jab soon, but by the time this comes out, I will have already had it. My first COVID jab. You guys had it yet? I think you have.
Yeah.
Is it awesome?
Yeah, it's epic.
I guess it
Nice.
depends. I felt really bad after the first day or two, but Chris was fine. So I guess it just depends
Yeah.
on how you just take it day by day. That's what I'm going to say.
Everyone's different.
I think after the second jab, you have to make out with the nurse.
Yeah.
I was
He
told the
gives
same
you the
thing.
jab, yeah, I'm vaccinated now. We can do this. Immediately takes off their mask. Just goes for it. Goes to town. Yeah, I had to book it on a day that I knew that I wasn't working the next day because I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, you are legally entitled to have the couple days after off if it come to that.
Yeah, you just lose pay.
Yeah, that's all it is. You can lose
Yeah.
money, but you won't lose your job.
No, I won't lose pay. I'm all right with that. Sorry guys, I know it's hard thing to take, but I actually get paid on the days I'm off.
Wait, what?
Why is it such a foreign concept to you?
I get sick pay, it's just not 100% pay.
Yeah,
I no longer am employed by a big company, so I actually
Yeah.
suffer all the rules of self-employment now.
Yes. Awesome. You got it. You're living the dream, right?
I am, because fuck retail, boys.
We've all been there. None of us
True.
like it. Some of us are still
think-
there.
I think Chris needs to leave now, and that will be the last of us.
When I can.
Oh dear. But yeah, excited for the jab. excited to just, have fun in the sun again. Not care about people spitting in my face.
I would hope people aren't spitting in your face, but I understand.
Yeah, I'm excited
we did
because
say we were
obviously in
gonna...
2 weeks' time, the restrictions are being lifted now. I'm excited to get back to normal and like be outside again, but also people are gross.
Oh, I'm still 100% wearing a face mask. I do not care. Double vaxxed or not happening. I don't like other people. I don't trust other people. I think that's what it mostly is.
Now it's just fashion. I just wear it. So it looks decent.
Yeah, it makes your face look cute. Yeah. It's like a piece of art.
Makes you anonymous. You can commit crimes and nobody will know it's you because you're wearing a mask. Not that I do that. You just do it when I'm outside with my boombox. I'm playing the High School Musical soundtrack at full volume. Nobody knows it's me.
I didn't realise you were going to take to the High School Musical movies this well. I was the one who was really excited about it. I was squealing last week.
We won't reveal our thoughts yet, because we got another movie to talk about. Another
Disney movie.
Another Disney movie.
Disney movies in one episode.
Fucking
you guys
hell.
Watched
5
recently,
Disney movies.
But I watched like a couple of weeks ago. I'm not super fresh on it. But we are talking about the new Pixar one, Luca, about some people who are fish and they live under the water because they're fish. And then some kid meets another fish guy and they go up to the surface and they become human, and they and it's in Italy as well. So there's Vespers and they want a Vespa, and the goal is to get a Vespa and enter a competition so they can get the money to get a Vespa.
Which is ironic, really, isn't it? But there you go.
They want to travel the world. So yeah. What do we think of Luca, the new Pixar one?
I mean, I wasn't paying a lot of attention to it. I mean, I was actually really amazed by like how well it was animated. Like, I looked at it and I went, oh yeah, that reminds me of Florence. Like, all the buildings are all like nicely coloured and they're all like sort of, I can't like quaint, but they're all like put together, and like you got like your pizzerias and stuff, like very typical like Italian landscape. But yeah, I wasn't paying much attention to it. Want to say it was kind of boring, and Disney are pussy cowards for not letting them be gay fish, because let's be honest, they were gay. They were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of share the same sentiments. Animation, off the charts good. You kind of expect it with a Pixar movie, but it's gorgeous. It really is. It's really lovely to look at. That's about as far as I can compliment it, though, because I didn't like it, really. I thought it was so boring. So boring and so, like, you've just seen it a million times. It's like, oh, like, they're in a competition. Okay.
Yeah,
that's the nuts and bolts of it, really.
Yeah,
and
nothing
you've seen
really
that so many
felt
times.
New.
No, it's not very new plot story-wise. It's just, yeah, you've seen it a million times, and it's like, I was so bored. Once I'd gotten over how fantastic the animation was. I just sat there. I was like, all right, well, what's actually happening here? It's like a combination of The Shape of Water and what Call Me By Your Name, or it's supposed to be, except it's not gay and it's not.
Yeah,
it's like, wow, it's like, it's exactly like that, and it's like, but it's not, because it's Disney, and Disney don't like representation, so why would they do that?
That was like a censored version of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was quite sweet, though. It was just, I
don't know.
Yeah, I felt like it wasn't quite daring, was it? It was just like, oh, there's some sweet little boys and everyone thinks they're monsters, and then that guy comes out with, the fucking fishmonger guy who's like, no, that's Luca and Alfonso or Alberto or whatever the fuck his name was. I can't even remember it now.
Yeah, it's like the plot of every Disney movie ever. It's like, no, they're not horrible beasts, they're good guys. Okay.
Yeah, like, okay,
super
fine.
cliched. I like barely remember the film at all when we watched it yesterday. Like, it just kind of fell out of my mind instantly, to the point where I actually like forgot we were going to be talking about it today.
Yeah, Alberto, by the way, just for future reference on my end. I'll never talk about this movie again, but
I'll never think about this movie again. In terms of Pixar movies, I think this is probably their most forgettable. It's like,
I don't know
it
about
reminds
that.
I don't know, it's just, out of all their films, I think this is the most like just bland and mediocre. All their other films, like, I think are either good or bad. Like, this is the only one, except for maybe Onward, which I kind of feel similar ways about. Like, this is like the only one that I think's just in the middle. I don't think it's particularly good. I don't think it's super bad. I have no like opinions on this movie. It just got no reaction out of me. It was just there.
That's how I feel about like the Cars movies. That's how I felt about like Monsters University. Even like some of the Cars movies, like the first Cars movies, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's also not very good, and it's also not like terrible.
Yeah.
But that is how I feel about it, and that's kind of how I feel about Luca. But it's better than Cars, I guess, because the animation's better, and it like as boring as the plot is, at least it makes sense, I guess. Even though it
That's
kind of
something.
doesn't. Like, what do they do underwater? What do the fish do underwater? When like he's got like a herd of like smaller fish that he's got to keep like together. It's like, okay, what do you do with those fish? Are they like sheep? You breed them for like wool, but they don't have wool. So what, scales? What do you do with these fish? You're
Yeah,
underwater. What do these fish do?
Yeah,
are they
I
doing?
didn't actually understand that either.
It's also another thing where it's like, oh, the surface is bad. People are bad. It's like, okay, how many times have we seen that?
Yeah.
About a million.
Nothing in this film's original at all. It's like, it's quite funny how we talked about Howl's Moving Castle last week, because this is basically just Pixar trying to do a Studio Ghibli movie. Like, it seems like they're trying to emulate the feeling you get watching one of their films, but they just don't have the creativity or like the magic that those films have. This is just so like average. It's just so cliched. It follows every single rule in the book. Whereas what makes a lot of those like Ghibli movies so great is that they don't. They're original and they're exciting. Whereas this is just nothing.
Yeah, you could like smash a bunch of Disney movies together and make this one. Like, you got very Little Mermaid vibes coming out here. Like, oh, I'm different. I'm an outsider. I don't want to go to the top because the people won't like me and all that other kind of shit. It's just, what?
They don't have like a Miyazaki working for them. He's too much of a visionary.
They should.
Just get some more ideas, people.
Yeah, they've lost quite a lot of their shine over the years, I feel like. And I don't know whether maybe I'm just getting old or maybe I just am right.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Soul was pretty good. Like, Soul was good.
Oh, Soul was amazing, actually.
That feels like an exception to the rule, almost.
Yeah.
Supposedly, like, a lot of their early movies, they, like, came up with the concept over, like, a weekend or something. They just, like, sat together, all the, like, original writers and stuff of Pixar, like, just brainstormed loads of ideas, and the best ones they kept. And apparently, like, I think everything up until, like, WALL-E or maybe Up were part of that. And then everything else were, like, almost like afterthoughts. And kind of thinking about that, you can really tell, because apart from Soul, I don't think they've really done a great movie since Up. Like, I like the Toy Story sequels, like 3 and 4, but I guess I like Coco quite a lot, but apart from that, it's all average.
I think they're a bit hit and miss at the moment. They either make something really great or something. It's just, like I said before, again and again, I just don't like average movies because they're forgettable and they're just boring.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be
WALL-E
shit so
great.
I can actually remember it. Did you say WALL-E?
I love WALL-E.
WALL-E's great.
Oh, it
That's
is
an
literally
amazing
my
movie.
favourite. I swear to God.
And then
So
they were like,
good.
yeah, our last good idea, we had a bunch of ideas for movies, and our last idea was WALL-E. And it's like, okay. That explains
Well,
it.
it's true. It was a good idea, at least. They knew that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, except that's about like the dangers of consumerism and like getting like just fat and complacent off of just corporations, where it was like, oh, but it's made by Disney.
Yeah.
The irony.
But that's kind of
WALL-E
funny,
was
though.
a film they were making for years, and they like were putting Easter eggs in all their previous movies. I think since like maybe Monsters Inc., there were little like Easter eggs and references to WALL-E because they've been planning it since then. Whereas this, it feels very much like they've just rushed it out. I feel like they really need to spend like 2 or 3 years working on a movie instead of trying to crank one out every single year, which they've been doing recently. Like 2020 alone had 2 Pixar movies. Now we got another one this year. It's just too much coming out at once. I think if they take a break or spend a long time working on a movie, maybe they can get something a bit more exciting and original and something that actually lives up to what you expect from Pixar.
I think they're choosing style over substance at this point, because if you look at the animation in Luca, have you seen the bubble hats and like their hair and everything? It's just like meticulous, but there's no substance to the stories whatsoever. So I feel like they're focusing more on, oh look, there's pretty things happening, so we're going to get nominated for awards regardless of whether our story is boring and forgettable. But a lot of people seem to like the film, so.
Yeah, and it's kind of a shame because, like, you look back at the first Toy Story movie, which by today's standards, it looks awful. Like, the animation has not held up well at all. But it's still an incredible movie, and it's timeless, and it's just filled with so much heart and emotion, and you can tell that they really, really cared about the characters, the story, about everything, whereas I just don't get that from this. It's just pretty to look at, but nothing more than that.
Yeah, Toy Story is a genuinely great movie, and at least with that, yeah, it doesn't look great, but then you like contrast it to the next movie, or like Toy Story 2, it looks so much better. So obviously they learned from that, and they have not really learned from it. If anything, they've like regressed, because Soul was so good. I mean, it comes back. I mean, I don't know like who was working on Soul that worked on Luca really, but like, come on. It doesn't feel like part of the same kind of thing.
No, I felt like, don't get me wrong, the animation in Soul was like really, really nice, but it didn't really feel like Luca nice. Like, I wasn't looking at it and going, whoa, this is actually amazing. But the story of that was better. So I don't know. Or maybe that's just me being,
honestly.
I just wasn't feeling it. Like, no, it's nothing against that, but when you compare the two, I think obviously Soul doesn't look anywhere near as nice, but that's just me.
I think in a lot of ways, Soul looks better than Luca, because I think it tries more with its animation, and it goes in different places with the kind of styles that they're, like, it branches out in terms of the styles that they're employing. But with Luca, it is, it does look lovely, but it's just one style throughout. And yeah, that's great. But it also, after like 20 minutes, it's more like, well, okay, so I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I think recently they've just been it's just really been a bit off, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Been a bit off. To put it lightly. You got like The Good Dinosaur, Cars 3, the rest. I can't even remember them, honestly. I didn't even see Onward.
Cars 3, I have never in my life. I don't think I've even seen the first one. Actually, I don't know.
The first one's alright. Cars 2 is absolutely shit. And I've not watched 3.
I honestly don't know. I can't remember what ones I've seen and what ones I haven't seen.
Cars 2 might be the worst Pixar movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Cars 2 sucks. The Good Dinosaur is much better, though.
No, it's not.
I've not even heard of The Good Dinosaur.
Don't bother with it. It's really bad.
Yeah.
It was a massive flop, I'm pretty sure. It's like their only big like box office failure.
I'm not surprised. Actually, hold on. Let me go and find it. I'm gonna.
Something I also wanted to quickly say before we move on is it's a real shame that Pixar are being delegated to just being Disney Plus original movies now.
Yeah, what's that all about?
It's for kids. Kids like animation. Adults don't like animation. You don't want to take your kid to the cinema. You want to put them in front of the TV at home so they don't make any noise.
Ooh.
But it just kind of... It's almost like Disney are admitting that they think Pixar are lesser than them. It's just a shame because I think Pixar at their best make the best animated movies ever made.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we won't put Luca in the cinema, but we'll put Cruella in the cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
or Raya and the Last Dragon.
Yeah, why don't they? It's like they don't care about their animation team anymore. They're just sort of like...
Yeah. I mean, with Soul, I completely understand because we were like in the midst of the second wave.
Yeah.
Like pretty much the entire world had been locked down again, and it came out like on Christmas Day. It was like going to be this huge thing that you could watch with your family. It made sense to put that out on Disney Plus the way they did, but like everything's reopening now. Like the world's kind of getting back to normal. It just doesn't make any sense why they just put it out like this instead of giving it like the premiere access sort of release where they put it in the cinema, or you can rent it like they did with Cruella, like they're doing with Black Widow this week. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but they're doing the whole, like, I think Disney have gone like completely off their nut, because all they're doing now is shoving their animators to the back burner and being like, oh, we'll put this on Disney Plus because people are paying for that, whatever, doesn't matter. But then they're going to do all the fucking Disney remakes and all that other shit, the live action ones, and I think they've lost it. I honestly think Disney have lost the plot.
I don't think Disney care about animation anymore. I mean,
really
look
don't.
at that, is it Blue Sky Studios, the studio that they recently bought, owned by Fox, who made like Ice Age and Rio and stuff. Like, say what you will about their movies, I don't really like any of them, but it's a shame that they've shut down this big animation studio recently and like gotten rid of all these great animators.
Yeah, I think it's quite weird as well, considering they started off in, you know, your flat dynamic animation that they completely have like turned against their own selves in a way. They're just sort of like corporate sellouts. I mean, everyone knew they were corporate sellouts anyway, but I mean, they've kind of lost the heart and soul that they used to have.
Yeah.
No, they haven't lost the soul. They released Soul last year.
Shut up, Max.
So yeah, fuck Disney.
Yeah,
What
Disney,
would we
Disney
rate
shit,
Luke?
man.
Wait, they got like that new Pixar movie coming out like, I don't know, next year or this year. It's called like Turning Red, or like, it's about like a girl who like sneezes or like she gets too excited and she becomes a panda.
Sorry, what?
That sounds terrible.
Sounds like a parody, like Pixar movie they put in The Simpsons or something.
No, that is.
Yeah.
Are you serious? No, that's not a real
That's
movie.
what it
is.
is. That's what it is.
No, I'm looking that up right
No,
now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
had heard of that, but I actually completely
I've
forgot.
never heard of that in my life. You're joking, right?
They've also got obviously the Buzz Lightyear movie coming out. They've got
Yeah, Chris Evans.
yeah. They've got a Monsters Inc. TV series that starts this
You
week.
found it.
Looking forward to that. She's just laughing at the poster.
Yeah,
It looks like a really bad Totoro like rip-off.
it is. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, that is enjoyable. I reckon that is going to be absolutely awful, but I'm excited. I'm not gonna. Oh wait, her name's May. Nah, that's a Totoro ripoff, right? The girl's name is May, and that's a fucking Totoro. That's a Totoro ripoff right there,
Yeah.
mate.
They don't give a shit anymore.
Oh my god, that is shameless.
Do we want to rate Luca before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show?
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is a pretty bland movie. Like, it's just very average for Pixar. Like, it's like one of their weakest films, I think. And it just made me think of like better films like this, like better films set in Italy that are like coming of age movies. Like Call Me by Your Name's a great example, or even like Cinema Paradiso. Watching this just made me want to go watch those two films instead. So I'd recommend doing so instead of watching Luca. And I'm going to give it 5 out of 10.
Yeah, probably give it the same, honestly, 5 out of 10. I feel like maybe if I watch it again, I'd give it lower, but I don't really want to watch
Yeah.
it again, ever. So
Oh yeah, I'll
stick
never
with a
watch
5,
this again.
whatever. It's so boring. So whatever.
I'll say what I said last time I wasn't paying attention to a film. I don't think it's fair to rate it because
Sure.
I didn't pay much attention to it, but I'm pretty sure it would. Do you know what? I probably reckon it'd be lower than a 5, to be honest.
I can't blame you.
Everyone's loving it though, so don't let us.
No, we're going to get hated on by
sway you
so
from
many
there.
people. They're going to be like,
I
you
wouldn't
guys have
even say-
absolutely no heart, do you? Meh.
I wouldn't even say everyone's loving it. People seem very mixed on it.
It's doing very well.
Yeah, it's
Because
it's
doing
a
well,
Pixar
but it's
movie.
Pixar. It's obviously going to do well.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're into the whole like just sitting your kid in front of pretty colours.
I almost want to see them do something so horrifically terrible that everyone's like, that was shit, wasn't it? And they have to reevaluate everything and like come back after.
That's
like,
what I thought
like a
was going to
10-year
happen when
hiatus.
The Good Dinosaur came out. Because everyone
not.
seemed
Yeah,
to
I just
hate
saw
that film, and it was a
I just saw the
huge
reviews
failure.
for it, and everyone was like, "Oh, at least it's pretty," and I'm like, "That's the problem, though, isn't it? people like me and everyone else is going, oh, well, at least it looks nice. But it's not good enough,
I don't even
is
think it looks
It's not
nice.
I haven't actually seen that film, so I can't
No.
I can't actually tell you that, but that's what I saw. And I was like, is this really what it's come to? If it looks pretty, it's passable.
Good Dinosaur's going for more like realism, I think. Realism with its animation. That's fine, I guess, but it's also
Was
like
it
what
creepy?
the Lion King
That
remake
sounds-
is supposed to be. It's no, because like they had like cartoonish features for the dinosaurs. Like
Oh,
the
okay.
characters were like cartoony, but the landscapes were like real, I guess.
Ah.
So when it like
I gotcha.
rains on the dinosaurs, it looks really weird.
Weird.
Anyway, let's get off of that. We marathoned obviously the High School Musical movies. Went around mine, and we ordered some pizzas, and we just chowed down into the pizzas and into the movies themselves. I hadn't seen these movies in a very long time. I don't know about you guys.
No,
Must have been when I was really young.
Yeah,
almost
I
when they
hadn't
came
seen
out.
the first one. Like, so growing up, we didn't have the Disney Channel until after the first movie came out. So I saw the second one when it came out, but I didn't see the first one. So I hadn't seen the first one until like 2 years after it come out, or maybe even 3.
Yeah, I was 10 when the second movie came out, and I don't think I've seen either of the first two since then. And I'd never watched the third movie before, so that was a
No.
new experience.
No, I don't think I had either. But I saw the third one about 5-6 years ago, maybe even 7. I watched it with a mate at her house, and I was like, "Why are we watching this?" Because back then, you were too cool for all that, weren't you? You were like, "Oh, High School Musical, man, that's for 10-year-olds, man, whatever."
To 10-year-old girls. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd seen this. Actually, I've only seen the second one twice. Well, 3 times when we watched it, but I'd always watch bet on it like all the time. Like I just watch clips of it all the time because I just loved it.
Yeah. It has been a long time for me, but I have seen all of these movies before. I was surprised how many songs I remembered.
I thought the same. Me and Max were having a very good little sing along.
Well, with me, I've
Right.
heard the songs so many times because ex-member of the podcast, Connor, he used to have the CDs for the first 2 films in his car.
Oh, really?
And he used to play them all the time, especially the second one. I like vividly remember a couple years ago when he first got it, we were like driving around Portsmouth. I can't even remember why, and he was just blasting out that CD with his windows down, like singing along to all the songs.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, he should have been a little guest feature. I would love to hear him sing along to whatever songs he felt like he could sing along to.
That's like how I own all of the Shrek soundtracks on CD, because Chris bought me them one Christmas.
I
on my
hate that
birthday, I
for
don't
you.
remember.
I hate that.
They're expensive as well, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure one of them was like £10.
Oh, Jesus
Jesus.
Christ. Oh, God. Yeah. Well, worth every penny, eh? Anyway,
Yeah.
should we get on to the first movie, High School Musical?
Yeah.
Sure.
So the first movie, High School Musical, all 3 of these movies are directed by Kenny Ortega, and they're written by the same person whose name I am just getting up now.
So real passion projects from these guys.
Yeah, all written by Peter Barsocchini. So just
Cool.
same team on all 3 movies, all done a year apart. First film, High School Musical from 2006, a Disney Channel original movie, as are the first 2. It's about Zac Efron's character Troy, who is the captain of the basketball team known as the Wildcats in this high school called East High. And him and this girl called Gabriella, who's played by Vanessa Hudgens, kind of hit it off at this party. It's like a New Year's Eve party. And then they part ways, expecting never to see each other again. But she moves to the school. They both have a love of singing, but because Gabriella, her thing is meant to be that she's nerdy, and Troy is meant to be the captain of the basketball team. He's too cool to sing. They kind of hide it, but they secretly audition to become the leads in the school musical, which has a ripple effect on the people around them. That's kind of the rough gist of the plot.
Sort of
What
is,
do we all
yeah.
think of it?
Well, let's see. What do I think of this movie? Well, actually, I had no idea what I was going to think of this movie. I kind of went in thinking that I kind of had the same reaction that I do to the Twilight movies, where, like, I do kind of love those movies, but they suck. They suck. And the enjoyment I get from it is because of, like, the bad acting and the bad writing. It's just everything about it, because everything about those movies just sucks, really. That's kind of what I expected to happen when going into High School Musical. But actually, I sat there and we consumed it all, and it was genuinely great. It was actually awesome. It was so good. Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's actually like a really fantastic movie. And look, it's not like, it's the plot is very contrived. It's very obvious what's going to happen. It's not like too surprising, but I think the enjoyment comes from the soundtrack, and all the songs are genuinely great. Well, like maybe a couple, I don't know. But we were singing along, we were bopping, we were loving it. I watched this movie twice. I watched it again afterwards. I think it was last night that I watched it. Oh my God. It held up. Like, even I was like, this is like, I'm on a high from watching it with you guys, and that's why I think it's so good. No, it's just genuinely great. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I'm just sort of looking at Chris and we're just looking at each other like, who wants to speak first?
It's waiting for you.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I kind of, because I hadn't seen it in so long, I don't really, you know, when you don't really have an impression of a movie because it's been so long, you kind of forgotten. I kind of went into it thinking, okay, it's either going to be really great because it's awful, or it's going to be awful, or it's going to be great. And I found myself knowing so many songs. I was just like, oh my God, like, the lip syncing is so bad, but that's the only thing that bothered me. Everything else was just like, I don't know, it was like going back in time to a better time and being like, oh yeah, I'm vibing to the High School Musical films. Like, I mean, for context, we watched this on the same night as Germany was playing England at the Euros, and I had way more enjoyment watching the first High School Musical film than anything else.
Yeah. I was surprised that, despite not having watched it since I was like probably 10, how vividly I remembered the movie. Like, rewatching it, I was like, yeah, I 100% remember all of this. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I don't think it's an amazing movie, but I do think it's a very well made movie. I do think all of the music is like surprisingly really great. There's like a couple of songs that I think are genuinely fantastic songs that I would love even if they were outside of the High School Musical like movie. It's like crazy how well written some of these songs are. Like, they go way above what a Disney Channel original movie should do. They really just kind of went all out with this.
Yeah,
They did.
yeah. I mean, I think my favourite part was the fact that I wasn't singing the songs by myself, because I don't really like singing, and I don't like singing on my own. So Max just coming in with the kill was just like, that was just nice. I like that. I vibe with that. It's
That's
much more
what
fun
we
when you're
need
not
to
just
do.
sitting there like a loser, innit?
Can you imagine if we had to do this marathon on our own? That would have been horrendous. Like, I mean, the first movie's good, but like, it's not the same vibe that you get. I think there was a lot of energy that came from us all being in the room together and all experiencing it, and not only having a good time, but having our expectations subverted in a way that we were like, wait, this is great. Like, what? This film actually slaps. And I just had so much fun with it, honestly. And, you know, we could talk about like the technical qualities of it. Sure, I'm sure we'll get onto it. But I think all of that kind of pales when just the overall vibe I got with it was just fun. You know, it's just fun and it's nice and it's honestly kind of wholesome in a lot of places. And I've been bopping to the soundtracks of these movies all weekend. And I love them. I was like listening to them at work today. I was like, oh, everybody can hear this on my headphones.
I guess that's the weird part, isn't it? It's like the shock of actually going, oh, okay. Because obviously when you're younger, everyone else, well, I don't know about you guys, but everyone else in like my class and my year were like obsessed with it. So like everyone was sort of like vibing off of each other, the fact that it was so good. And like I thought, oh, it can't be as good as like you remember it to be. But for some reason, I don't know whether it's like the nostalgia or the fact that like because you're having like a good time, everything just felt so much better. Like I don't know if I was just listening to these songs without people around me or like, you know, just watching it by myself, I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much. I think I would have liked it, but yeah, I don't think I would have been as like vibing. I was having a good time. It's just
maybe it is that, but also like I went into it and I was like, well, I never liked it much when I was younger. I don't remember like really loving it. So I kind of went in and I was like, all right, well maybe it'll be fine or whatever. I don't know. So I don't know if the nostalgia played into it so much for me because I wasn't expecting it to be great and I wasn't expecting to connect with it as much as I did. I just had a really good time with it, regardless.
Yeah, it was quite fun. I wasn't expecting to have that much fun. I mean, I knew I was super excited because I was like, yeah, nostalgia, High School Musical, let's do this. But I didn't actually think I'd sit there and go, do you know what? This film isn't actually half bad. Like, you know?
Wait, this is life-changing.
I think what makes it so enjoyable is just there's just a really infectious quality about it. Like you can really tell that all the actors, everyone like behind the making of the film, were just having an absolute blast with it. And I actually kind of, although I don't like the sequels anywhere near as much, I kind of felt that with those two as well. Like I wouldn't even say it feels like a passion project. It just feels like a project where everyone's really getting along and just having a great time and just having fun making this like film, not really caring about what people think. And it just it's very infectious, especially in this one.
That is a lot of what I get out of it too. I think it's very plain to see that everyone is loving it. That's like the vibe I get, and it's infectious. It really is. It's like they're all of them. All the actors, at least, you can tell, are so into it. They're so into their roles. Nobody, like, comes across like they're taking the piss. Nobody comes across like they hate what they're doing. They all seem so into their characters. And I think that lends itself to just a bit more fun, you know, and it helps, like, yeah, it's goofy and it's silly. You know, it's a musical and everyone's singing in a school, but nobody treats it like it's stupid. It's just they treat it like it's fun and they treat the story seriously, and that's like the story is probably the weakest part of it, but even then, like, I don't really mind it.
Yeah, because you can almost feel like the vibe in like what you're saying about like how everyone seems to be like actually enjoying what they're doing. I feel like the first one the most so. If that makes sense, like everyone seems to enjoy it the most in this first film, where everyone's sort of really into it, but maybe they just didn't think that they were going to end up making another two, perhaps.
Yeah,
no,
this feels like it doesn't feel like they thought they were going to make another two.
Yeah,
the last two movies definitely feel like, oh, that movie did well, we'll make some more.
Yeah, that's kind of not phoned in as such, but yeah, it didn't have the same sort of vibe of everyone's having a great time.
Yeah. A problem I have with the fact that they are having a good time is like, I wanted that more from Zac Efron, where I do think that he is having a really good time. He's one of the highlights of the movie for sure. But the unfortunate truth of it is that he's not the one singing these songs. They had to dub him over because like the songs that they'd written were not to his register. And the dubbing is... it's noticeable, but it's not terrible. It's not bad, really. But like when you know, and I would prefer I prefer him singing in the sequels more than I do the guy who's singing for him in these. Like his expressions, really great. He looks really into it. the choreography. He's really into like the dancing. I love all that. But the singing, you know, the guy who's dubbing him, really good singer, but I would have wanted more connection from him by having his voice in there.
Yeah, I think you got to give him some praise for that, actually, for the fact that Zac Efron is only not singing, so he's not getting the full experience from it. He's just sort of like going off of someone else, and then having to do that lip syncing. I know it's not good, but I mean, I didn't even know that it wasn't him until many years later.
Yeah.
Sure.
Some of the obviously they didn't record any of the music on set, so all of the songs are lip synced.
Oh, okay.
But the majority of it, I think, is very good. But there are a few bits where it's like really, really obvious that they're not actually singing, especially in like the opening karaoke scene,
That's
which is like
awful.
quite a bad scene generally. Like the choreography is like really hilarious and that, and so the lip syncing there, especially from Zac Efron, it's just so obvious he's not actually singing.
Yeah, I actually really love that first song though. It started something new. That song is like a belter. It's really good.
Yeah.
But like, my problem with that was like, okay, they just got up onto the karaoke thing. They're two people. They don't know each other. They don't know the song that has been picked out for them. They've just been chosen. They don't want to do it. And it's like, how do they know the melody of the song? How do they get it so correctly? Like, I wouldn't be able to do that.
There are so many questions there, isn't there? To be fair.
Yeah. And then there's like just a whole question of like, how is the music happening? Like, is it like actually happening for the characters? Is it in their head?
Oh, when they're doing all that. Yeah, because the karaoke part makes sense because there's actually like a setting and a scene where you think, oh, they're singing to everyone in the room. But then, yeah, like when it comes to like the basketball games and stuff like that, you think, yeah, it's just happening in their head. Like
it tilts a bit. It's out of the reality. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just kind of something with musicals, though, that I think normally you just have to accept because there isn't going to be a proper answer.
But they
for
do
it.
kind of confirm that, though, don't they? Because at one point they asked Troy to sing because they've never heard him sing. But like the hour before, they did that song together in the gymnasium. So you think, oh, they definitely is something that Zach imagines up in his head because none of them have heard him sing before.
Yeah.
Who knows?
He's scared. Scared to go out of his wheelhouse, scared not to be the basketball boy. But I do love that the first song. I love how into it they get. They're like very trepidatious at the beginning, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know, this is kind of silly. This is kind of lame. I don't want to do this." And then they get so into it, like just Zac Efron and what's her name?
Vanessa Hudgens.
Vanessa Hudgens, yeah.
And not Demi Lovato, just so everyone knows.
They're so good, and they have like on watching it the second time, I really do like their dynamic in this movie. I think it's a good like chemistry. They have chemistry, I think, in this movie. So I really loved all that, yeah. And the stuff with like the rest of them, the songs, aside from when they're singing on stage, they're clearly not actually happening. And yeah, I almost would have liked it to like actually happen, and then they were just like, that was weird, wasn't it? Let's just get on.
Yeah, I think like you said, they've definitely got a lot of chemistry in this film compared to the other two, but they did date throughout the making of all three movies, and they literally got together on the set of this.
What is that?
Netflix has just started up on my computer, I think.
Did it? Did Max, did you not hear that?
No.
Oh, me and Chris just turned around and all you could do was...
I have no clue where that was from.
That was so weird. I don't even know you had it on your computer. Or was that on the...
I have no clue where
What
that came
the
from.
fuck? Anyway.
Oh my god.
What was
Either
anyone
way.
even talking about? I don't even remember now.
Yeah, they were dating throughout the making of these three films, and they got together on the set of the first movie.
Right.
And you can kind of tell that they're like at the beginning of a relationship. Like they have a lot of like early relationship chemistry, and like they're always looking at each other and smiling and stuff. And I think that really works considering what like the story is and where they are at the point in their relationship.
Yeah. It's cute. It's cute. I like the scene where like Troy, he's fucked up. He's said some things he shouldn't have said. So he goes to Gabriella's house and he tries to make up with her, and he like her mum opens the door, and like he's like, I fucked up. Please tell her that I'm sorry and I didn't mean it, and to call me or something. I was like, on the second time round, I was like, this is amazing. Like, I like out loud said, this is great. Like, I love that scene so much, and it's just like it all comes together, and it is like dumb. It's like obvious. It, like that's what has to happen. It's the second act low point. They've fallen out. They have to get back together again. It's all obvious, but it's well done. It is really well done. And he goes up to the balcony, and like he's like, open the door. He's on the phone to her. He's like, open the door. She opens the door, and he's just there on her balcony, and it's actually Zac Efron singing, and he like sings the song that they're what is it? Yeah, that they're gonna sing.
Yeah, the start of something new, wasn't it?
Yeah,
wasn't it? Because he sings it back to her. I swear.
Yeah, it starts something new. Yeah, like that's so good. I love it so much.
And she's like crying that happy tear, like, "Oh, you remembered? I love you, Troy."
He's like wearing double denim.
He literally double denim. He's a 90s boy.
all the costumes in this movie suck.
Yeah,
suck.
they're really bad.
Apart from Sharpay.
Sharpay and Ryan probably have the most interesting wardrobe choices.
Yeah, because they're so out there. They're like the villain characters trying to sabotage Troy and Gabriella because they don't want them to sing in their musical, you know? But really fantastic performances. They feel so into it, like Ashley Tisdale and Lucas Grable, aka Food Boy. They're really into it. I really love them. I love them so much. They're really fantastic performances.
For me, they're like my highlights of the films.
Yeah, they are great characters.
And they have the best song in the movie, I think. I really love Bop to the Top. I think it's a bop. The only problem I have with that, though, was that they kept cutting around it because it was at a point of tension. We needed to see what Troy was doing. We needed to see what Gabriella was doing. And at that same time, Sharpay and Ryan are singing Bop to the Top. They're all dressed up. It's all glam and glitz. And it's a great song, but I just wish that they hadn't cut around it so much. They literally stop the song and then they have to come back to it. It ruins the flow.
Yeah, I think the first time I actually heard that song was from the soundtrack, because I had the soundtrack before I saw the film. And when I finally watched the film, I thought, this is actually really annoying. Like, I just want to hear the song.
Speaking of costumes, I love the fact that Chad, played by Corbin Bleu, he wears 3 watches in the first time you see him in the film.
What?
He was like, we pointed it out. He has 3 watches on his arm because he was basically, they gave him a choice of which one he wanted to wear, and he said, I want to wear all 3 of them, and they're all set to different time zones.
Oh, I didn't notice that
It's just such a really weird bit of
so strange.
That's so
I didn't
funny.
notice that at all.
Yeah. He also he's wearing like a lot of t-shirts with slogans on them, and apparently Corbin Bleu actually came up with those slogans.
They're all terrible slogans, so Corbin
They're all
Bleu,
really
if you
bad.
ever hear this.
They're so bad.
Awful.
But it's really funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's quite funny. It's just, they're not very good, are they?
Something really weird that I found out as well is that obviously the characters of Chad that he plays and Taylor is played by Monique Coleman. They like have sort of like a relationship sort of thing build up, but he was like 17 when the film was made and she was 25.
Wait, how old was he?
17.
Oh, don't know about
So that was like an 8
Dodgy
year
ground. Dodgy ground.
It's a bit. Don't know how to feel about that.
Good thing it wasn't like a physical on-screen relationship or anything.
Yeah, they don't really get much into it. I don't think they hug a bit, but that's about it. I guess maybe that's why. I don't know. They're always like, Chad and Taylor. I honestly forgot her name, but they're like, they're together. We don't need to build up their relationship all that much. You just need to know that they're together. And it doesn't really feel like it a lot of the time over the course of these 3 movies. Yeah,
like there's actually quite a lot of the time where you kind of don't even feel like they're even like a couple. You just sort of like, oh, okay, they're just chilling together. Yeah.
And a lot of the time they don't even hang out. They're just
it's
like
weird.
in opposite rooms and stuff.
Yeah, just yeah, weird.
I love the fact that like everyone's basically rich in this school. Like they live in big houses and they have like a lot of like interesting and nice things, and you know that like we'll get into it in the I think the third one of why I don't like this that much. But it's very clear that all these people, all these students have money. They come from money. Like Gabriella's house is huge, you know. Troy's got like a basketball court at the back of his garden, but the problem I have with it is like, okay, first of all, that's not very relatable to all these people who are watching it and they're not rich. They're rich people and they have problems. Okay, who cares about that? But also, like, I don't like the fact that it's only like honed in on that Sharpay and Ryan are like the rich people. Like they have the wealth, they have the money. That's why they're able to like have these lovely costumes, and they're a bit more flamboyant with it all. They're a bit more show-offy. But like we're supposed to think that like these other people could not get that if they wanted to. It's a bit. I feel like there's a disconnect there.
Yeah, it's almost as if like we're rich, but they must be mega rich, so therefore we
Like,
have
just
to
'cause they
highlight
show
how
it.
mega rich they are. Yeah, it's sure. But then they'll probably do the whole like, oh no, we're well off, but we're not rich. Like we're not Sharpay and Ryan rich.
Like, oh yeah, like they show it like in the way that they're more a bit more flamboyant. They're a bit more out there, especially like with their performances. And their performances, when they did them and they were on stage, some of the best songs in the movie, honestly.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
we're all supposed to think like, oh, you know, Troy and Gabriella, when they sing, it's all about love and connection. But when Sharpay and Ryan sing, it's all about, you know, like wealth and power and being popular. And it's like dude, come on. Like it's the same. Like you don't think these people could do that exact same thing if they wanted to, just because they don't want to? Like they're a bit more relatable. I don't know. It feels weird to me.
Yeah, it's very strange. Early on in the film, I put down a note that it was like quite a similar plot to Grease, like how the film starts off with them kind of having chemistry together, then going away and not seeing each other for ages, and then the girl moving to the school, but them kind of having to hide that there's something going on because he's cool and she's not. And apparently, like, the film originally was going to be a sequel to Grease. It was going to be the third film, and it was like they wrote a script in 1999, and originally Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake were going to star in it. And they were meant to be the children of Danny Zuko and Sandy Olsen from the original film. So yeah, the plot was basically going to be a Grease sequel. They eventually like rewrote it like slightly and shelved it because they had to get permission from the owners of Grease to do it, and they couldn't get it, so eventually they just changed it into this film.
Damn, that's weird. That's really weird. They weren't even going to call it, like, they didn't even want to call it High School Musical. Like, that was like
No.
the name they had, like, just in case they couldn't think of anything else, and they couldn't.
Yeah. It's not a bad name. It kind of just tells you everything to expect.
Yeah, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. There's no, like, bamboozling here. No bamboozling being done. I wanted to mention a couple of, like, the technical qualities of the movie. I think we mentioned, like, something like the dancing, but choreography is actually sick. It's actually really
yeah, it's
fucking
amazing.
good. Like, I watched it, again, like I said, I was so into, like the Get Your Head in the Game song, and they're dancing,
Yeah.
and they're so in sync on the basketball court. It's all really well done. Like, yeah, it cuts around a lot, but the ultimate, like, song with the dancing as well, it's really good. You could tell they worked really hard on it, and that does go for like a lot of the songs, honestly. Like the Status Quo song where they're all dancing in the cafeteria and they're singing about, oh, if only I could break out of the mold, and which is ironic. But it was made by Disney, but don't think I won't go there. I think it says all it needs to say. But yeah, just really brilliant vocal performances, apart from Zac Efron, but also really great dance choreography as well. And it's flamboyant and out there when it needs to be, and it's more held back when it needs to be as well. Like when Troy and Gabriella are just like singing alone, they don't need like big over the top dance sequences because it's more about the intimacy between the characters. That being said, I love their final song together when they're on stage and they're singing Breaking Free. Genuinely fantastic song. It's amazing. And it's like they're sort of shy about it. There was like a shot before they started. Gabriella just freezes, and it's like just like this close up of her face and like a black background. It looks like something out of Get Out. It was like something from a Jordan Peele movie. I'm like, what the hell? Like her mouth was just like wide open.
She's like,
It was like the scene where like Daniel Kaluuya goes into the sunken place. That's what that was like. That was terrifying. Clearly inspired by this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they're sort of held back and she's scared, but Troy, like he eases her into it, and then as they get going, they both they get into it more, and it's like this free flowing thing where they're like moving around and they're like dancing around with each other, and it's like they're like the only two people in the room, but everyone's come to see them, and it's just this big euphoric moment where everyone's just getting up and they're dancing, and everyone that like was very like upset about them like singing for some reason, they were all like, oh, actually singing's cool. So they all get up and dance, but it's this fantastic moment. I love it.
Yeah, it's all really great. There's not really a single like song or musical sequence that I don't think is good. Like I did say the opening karaoke scene's a little bit cheesy, but the song is good. I think all the songs are fantastic. Like I said, it's way better than a Disney Channel original movie has any right to be. And it's after like the film first aired, I think they put the soundtrack album out, and like 8 tracks from the film appeared on the Billboard Hot 100, which is like obviously the America's chart system. And it was like at that point it was the most songs ever from one album to be in the Hot 100 simultaneously, which is quite impressive for a Disney Channel movie. And or just generally for a musical.
I almost might think at the time I'd be like, yeah, well, whatever. They're not good though. It's just because everybody watched it and like loads of girls, teenage girls love it. But no, they're actually really good songs. Actually, fantastic.
I swear, like Breaking Free was like unescapable for like the year after this film came out.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
I could see like maybe that getting a bit old. Maybe if it was like. But that being said, I have played these songs over and over again the whole weekend. I'm still not bored of them. There was a part that I noticed more on the second time around where they get back from winter break, and then Troy's sitting like on his desk and he's talking to Jason, I think his name is, and Jason's like, "Do you remember the night before?" And then Troy says, "No, all I remember is pink jelly." I'm like. Oh, he's talking about like getting wasted off a Jello shot.
Nice.
Troy got drunk. Okay, great. Aren't they supposed to be kids? None of them look like kids either. None of them look like the age they're supposed to be.
No, they really don't.
Shall we get on to the ratings?
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, quickly before we get into it, I just wanted to bring up one like quite impressive fact about the film. It's like been remade in loads of countries for some reason. Like it's been remade in Mexico, Brazil, Indonesia, and China. The Mexican one's called Viva High School Musical, and I don't know why I found that really funny.
I love that. That's sick.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like
That's
crazy
sick.
that this film's like been remade over and over again.
Very nice. So deserved.
What are we rating it out of?
I don't know. Wildcats. Thank God.
Wildcats.
Got there. Thank God. Yeah, Wildcats.
Yeah. This film was a lot of fun. It's crazy how well it holds up. I can imagine people watching it and thinking it's like very silly and not enjoying it, but if you kind of just get into the film, like let all your thoughts go and just have a good time, then I think you'll get a lot out of it, because it's infectious. It's a lot of fun. It does everything that I think a good musical does. So I'm going to give it 6 Wildcats out of 10.
Yeah. If you're going into this movie trying to judge it as like a piece of art cinema, you're not going to get very far. Just have fun with it. It's a really good movie, honestly. But at the same time, like if this isn't like your type of music, I guess that's like the only thing that might deter some people, I think. But yeah, I love it. I honestly love it. There's like a part where Chad says, suddenly people think they can do other stuff that's not their stuff. I was like, that's exactly like the scene from Finding Nemo where Marlin says, like, you think you can do these things, but you just can't, Nemo. I was like, that's exactly the same. I also noticed, like, there's a really weird line where Troy says, like Sharpay and Ryan have sabotaged the timings for the shows, and Chad's like, what are we going to do to them? And then Troy says, we're not going to do anything to them except sing. Okay. Yeah, fantastic movie. Bloody love it. Yeah, 6 Wildcats out of 10.
I mean, yeah, it's extremely cheesy, but I think you should expect nothing less from a film called High School Musical. So I would say just like grab a couple mates, have a pizza, and just pretend that it's 2007 again, or 2006, or whatever year it came out.
2006.
2006. We're all 9 years old again, enjoying a great movie. Hilariously, I thought Max was going to rate it higher because I was going to give it 7. So 7 from me.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about like entertainment level, I'd give it like a 10.
Oh, 100%. A 10. But yeah. Now, what do we think about the second one, Milos?
Yeah, so second one came out the year after, 2007, also directed by Kenny Ortega, the mastermind himself. And in this one, you got the same cast of characters returning. You got Troy, you got Gabriella, you got Chad, you got the other ones. And this one, it's like, I think it's like the same academic year, but like it's summertime now. It's school's out, summer vacation forever.
Summer.
Everyone's
Summer.
happy.
Summer.
Everyone's saying summer because it's summer. And that was creepy. And what's it about? Well, they're like, oh, actually, we need jobs because our parents say we need jobs, and we could do without their jobs because our parents are super rich, but we need jobs because they said we need jobs. So like they all get jobs at the same place, this like country club that's owned by like Sharpay's dad, and it's like Troy gets a job, and then he convinces the manager to hire Gabriella, and then also all their other friends, and so like. What happens in this movie? And then like things just go like crazy because like the people turn on Troy because he gets promoted to like the big leagues within the country club, and so he's helping out with like the golf, and he's getting to play golf, and he's getting to do all these great things while his friends just work in the kitchen. And it's basically the conflict is that Troy's a dick now because he's doing well.
Sharpay's trying to steal him.
Yeah, Sharpay's trying to steal him for, I don't know, some reason. A musical or something? Like she's putting on there's like a talent show going on. I always hate like when there's like a talent show in a movie because it's such a boring plot device. Like they've got to compete in the talent show. Who's gonna win? And that happened in Luca, and it happened in this. So yeah, base level thoughts, not great from a story perspective. I didn't really care for it. You can tell the production got a lot more in the budget. So you could tell it looks a lot different. It looks a lot more high end. Obviously, they've got more the sets that they can use. They're not just filming in like a school. And as much as that's fine, I actually don't think this looks as good as the first one, in all honesty. It looks a bit too like high contrast, like the saturation is a bit too much for me, where I think in the last one it could have just looked a bit, it looked real, you know, and this it looks more like a movie and not like a movie that was made for Disney Channel. It doesn't really know what it is as much as that movie did. That being said, the songs are brilliant. Pretty much every song in this movie is amazing.
I actually prefer the songs in this film.
I
this has the best
kinda
songs out of all of the films.
This does have the best songs. But what do we think? Are we like in the same kind of mind about this movie?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not nowhere near as good as the first movie. I think honestly what brings it down so much is just how long it is. Because it's almost, it's like an hour 45 minutes, but the version we watched, the version that's on Disney Plus, is like an extended version, which is like almost 10 minutes longer. And I think if it was just like an hour and a half, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot, because all the musical numbers are a lot of fun. I don't think the story, although it's quite thin, I don't think it's like particularly bad. I do enjoy watching these characters. I did like enjoy all the interactions and everything. It's just too long. There's so much repetition, so many scenes that could easily be cut out, and it kind of just brings the whole film down, because there was just multiple points where I was bored, and that's like not what you want in a film like this. You want to, just like the first film, have fun, because it's like meant to be quite silly. It's meant to be kind of tongue-in-cheek. Like, it works so much better if you're having fun with the movie, whereas I think too much of this is just very repetition-based and just quite boring.
Yeah, and I remember liking this one the most, which is strange.
That's what I thought as well, actually. But then I guess I didn't remember a lot about the movie itself. I remembered the songs from the movie, and I guess that's kind of where I came from it as, oh, I really like the songs from this film, so I'm gonna remember loving the film, but I love the songs and not the film.
Yeah, as soon as like a song came on, I was like, it was like a relief.
Yeah, it was like
we're taken out of like the boring story.
Yeah,
actually get something good.
Oh God, especially Zach, that whiny little bitch throughout the whole film. I just hated him.
My friends don't like me anymore.
I think after they got to the country club, I pretty much had no recollection of the rest of the film except for the songs. And even still, we only watched this a couple of days ago, and I barely remember a lot of it. I just remember the songs, because that's really the only thing that keeps this film interesting in the slightest.
Was that a Hawaiian song in this one?
Yeah, the really culturally insensitive Hawaiian song.
What the hell was that? That was so weird.
I didn't remember that song was in it.
Like weird Hawaiian song, and they sit Troy down, and he's wearing like a flower crown, and he's just like, what the hell is happening? And they sing this weird Hawaiian song, and it is weird as hell, but one of the highlights is honestly is. I wouldn't have this movie without it. It was so crazy. Like, what the hell was happening with that? Go ahead and listen to this song. Pause this and listen to it. And then come back and be like, yeah, okay.
It's got a really long
what
name.
The fuck?
Yeah, it's like Haku. I don't know. What is it?
It's named after the state fish of Hawaii.
Is it actually?
Hawaii, I mean.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the name.
No, it's
like,
ridiculous.
I just don't remember it.
But like, there's so many great songs in this film. Like, even the intro song. What is it?
Summer.
What time is?
What time is it?
What time is it? Summertime.
It's a kid.
That's like a very ridiculous but fun song. You got songs like Bet on It, of course. One of the best classic
literally
songs.
My favourite.
The best
was my
High School
ringtone
Musical
for years.
song.
Yeah.
It's
like
nearly
unironically a fantastic pop song, like just generally like super great.
You got
love it.
other favourite, Darcy?
Well, no, Bet on It is my favourite from this film,
Yeah, okay.
but we'll get to the other
We'll get into
fantastic one.
This one obviously has Sharpay's song Fabulous, and I remember that being very lame and corny and like very girly, but it kind of slaps.
Yeah, you know
I'm
what?
not
There
gonna
was a
lie.
dynamic in me that happened when that song came on, because I've had it stuck in my head for days before we watched the marathon,
Yeah.
and I actually can't believe how much I remembered of the song.
I remember
'Cause I
so
was
much of these
repeating the
songs.
same
I was kind of
verse.
surprised. I was like, I remember all the lyrics. They're so
Yeah,
memorable.
why is that?
They really
You're
are
like-
very well written.
I Don't Dance is another highlight.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually thought I Don't Dance, and you know how it starts with hey bada swing. I thought that was a completely different song. I thought there were two different songs.
No, it's this
Nice.
one.
Legitimately.
And it's awesome.
So yeah, it's a great
I
sequence.
love it. It's honestly, every single song is great.
I also
I
really
love
love
how just like into it
got
they
a-
are. Like Chad's like, oh yeah, no man, I don't dance. It's like, you've been dancing the entire time. What do you
Literally,
mean you don't dance?
It's like all he does.
It's so fun.
I also really love Gabriella's song when there's a point in the end of the second act where she breaks up with Troy and she does this song called Gotta Go My Own Way. That's like
Yeah.
another really great song.
Do you know what? That's actually the only one I didn't like.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
I
really?
think that's just like a really good ballad. Like I could 100% see like someone like Beyonce or Rihanna singing that in the early 2000s.
It was a very early 2000s kind of song.
Mm. But it slaps. I'm saying that
It
one too
does.
much, but it slaps. It's so good. I've been listening to it like all day today. It's really good. Really great vocal performance. It's so dramatic, and like within the context of the movie, it almost makes it funnier. But like on its own,
Yeah,
it's just
'cause
a great song.
It is so ridiculous.
He's like,
they
I break up with you,
over something
Troy.
So minor.
You've gotten you're a dick now. You play golf. We just
How
don't see
dare
eye to
you
eye
play
anymore.
golf?
And then that song spurs Troy to sing the best song, Bet on It. And that's
Do you
like,
know what?
there's something I love about these movies is, well, the first two is that when you think of the song, you can remember the visuals that go along with it because the visuals are so like ingrained within the songs themselves. That's something I don't get with the third one. We'll get into that. But this one, you just remember it, and it's all like, as much as I don't think this movie looks as good as the last one, at least it has its own kind of visual style to it, which I don't think the third one does.
Yeah, Bet on It's got him like running around the hills in this country club and looking at his really bad CGI reflection in the water.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
Ever since I saw that movie for the first time, I think that's what inspired me to love really bad, like, not saying that High School Musical is like a bad film, but like, you know, when the editing is so shit looking, I think I was inspired to love films that look terrible,
It's
because
hilarious.
it made me so happy. Like, I just found it so funny that I remembered it. I was like, oh, I remember that bit where Troy looks at himself in the reflection and it looks really, really bad.
Apparently it took 6 whole days to film that whole sequence.
You're joking.
Yeah, I don't know how it took so long.
It's
But
just running around.
yeah.
Quite
just
tiring
running.
it must be, yeah.
Like, I could kind of understand it in like some of the others, like Fabulous, where there's like so much going on, but that one's literally just him running and dancing.
Maybe it was that.
Wow.
Maybe it was that one like shot of him in the pool. Maybe that like one bit alone.
Maybe.
It's impossible.
Fuck's sake.
It's crazy. Actually, we couldn't find the water, so it took us 6 days to find where the water was. This golf course is just so vast.
And that's why it looks the way it does.
Honestly, but that's a fantastic song. I love, like, it only exists because of the last song, and like it's all about, like, it's like a turning point for Troy, and he's like, yeah, actually, I'm gonna be better, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna stop till I get my shot. That's who I am. That is my plan. Will I end up on top? You can bet on it. And
Bet on it.
it's epic. I hate to use that word, but it's epic. It just is.
And this isn't ironically used. It sounded ironic when you said it, but I
No,
can
it's
see it in
honestly-
your face.
It's really good. It's a really great moment.
No, I actually love this song. Like, I've said it since the day I heard it, and I still do.
I just love how this movie overall is clearly trying to say something about like capitalism and the economy.
I think we mentioned
like
that so many times.
Yeah, we're like, this is like an allegory for capitalism. But it's like this real world being introduced to these young people who thought they'd have like the best summer ever and do everything they ever wanted to do. But they just get out of school and they're like, oh shit, I need a job. And they're worked to the bone by this company. They just wanted to have a nice summer. And then suddenly, like, Troy lives in luxury. It's very, like, Orwellian in that way. It was very strange to me.
Yeah. Just like how the first film's like you said it's basically an allegory for being gay.
Yeah. I said it was an allegory for coming out. That's what that movie was. That's exactly what it was. Can't change my mind. These movies are very deep. They have a lot of layers.
Yeah. Just like a good onion.
Oh, don't you start.
Something I really didn't like about the film was like the incidental scores, like in between the actual musical numbers. Like they're so cheesy. It sounds like something from a holiday advert. It's really bad.
Wait, what do you mean?
Pretty weak.
Like the music that plays just like in the background during normal scenes.
Oh, I don't even notice that kind of thing. Truth be told.
It's not very good.
No.
Pretty cheesy. Yeah, but that's why like the songs are really like the glue that holds it all together, you know. It's a shame that they couldn't put like as much like passion, I guess, into the musical score itself, but I don't think I'd ever watch this movie again, to be honest, because the only thing that I'm getting out of it is just like the songs themselves, when I could just like
listen to them,
listen to the songs on their own, and it would be shorter.
Yeah, the film was way too long. I agree with Chris.
Yeah, it's got like a large plot where Sharpay is trying to steal Troy, and that just, it feels never ending. It's so boring and unnecessary. And just when you think, oh, it's going to get to something else, like, and get a bit more interesting, it just carries on with it, and it's so shit, and it really brings down the film. I think if it was like so much shorter, I think the film would have been a lot better.
Yeah, there was that part where like Troy and Gabriella were having a picnic on the grass on the golf course, and then Sharpay's like, turn on the sprinklers, like Jigsaw or something. She's like on the walkie-talkie, she's like, turn on the sprinklers, and like the sprinklers come on, they're having their picnic and they're really surprised, but it just makes them hornier. Like you run around and the sprinklers having
Max
fun.
was like,
that's
no, you
that's
just made
not
it sexier.
Yeah, you just spurred them on. Oh dear. They sing this song called "Work This Out." Good song.
Yes.
But it's because they're under pressure from their boss to like work harder. But the song, like, it's supposed to like come to some sort of conclusion. Things are supposed to be different once the song ends, but nothing's different. And they're just like, well, I guess we'll just work hard. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a bit of a pointless song, really, wasn't it?
He's just going to do what he said. Yeah, he's riding us. He's a mean guy. God, I thought this summer was going to be great. You know what we're going to do? Just do what he tells you.
Yeah, it kind of just ruins the message of the whole film.
My favourite part, though, is he's really cynical, that man, isn't he? When he comes up and he's like, sometimes you just got to do horrible things that you don't want to do to keep your paycheck. And I'm like, oh my God, this man.
It's like relatable.
Yeah, in that moment, it was clearly trying to say something about like the like economy and like society as a whole, you know? It's so obvious.
I hope that the actor
like,
just made that up on the spot because he was really ashamed of being in High School Musical 2.
He's like, this is what I meant, by the way.
You shouldn't be ashamed of being in this movie.
No,
the songs are really good. And for what it's worth, all the characters I do still like.
The characters are all really likeable. Sharpay is still like a arsehole, but she's like a lovable arsehole. You love her because you hate her.
I honestly do love that character so much. Ashley Tisdale plays her phenomenally. And, you know, Lucas Grabeel as well. Really good as Ryan.
Yeah, and he kind of has like a redemption arc during the film, which I really liked.
Yeah, everyone seems to really like
Yeah.
him at the end. I like that.
Yeah.
I do like the breakup song where Gabriella breaks up with Troy. It's just like, this could have been so much easier if you just not sung it. Like, it's so much harsher because you sung it to him.
Yeah, it's got a tug on the heartstrings, Max.
Yeah. There's a shot right at the end of the film that I really loved where there's like a green screen where they're standing on a hill and you like see the building behind them and the building looks ridiculously massive. It's so funny.
It looks really like out of perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't
Because
look right.
it's not actually that big a building, but it literally looks gigantic.
And the fact that all of them are in one frame as well, the building should not be as big as it is.
It's so funny.
It was
But
really funny.
speaking of the ending, can we all just talk about how awful the last song is and how long it went on for?
Oh, yeah. All for
I
one.
can't remember. It was like, 1 for all,
Yeah, it wasn't good. It's the only bad
No.
song in this. I even like that racist Hawaiian song.
To be fair, I think the first two films, the last song is like the worst in the whole film.
I think they do that on purpose because people probably just turned it off by that point. They were like, oh, the film's over. Cracking. So I
Everyone's
know I
asleep.
would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a moment where Troy and Sharpay are together, and Troy asks her, have you ever tried just singing for fun? And she's like, I'm not sure if she ever does, though. Like, she likes the glam of it all. But it's like, that's also where I kind of fall off of it, where it's like, just because she does these things and she's like really flamboyant about it all, it doesn't make it like worse, you know? It actually makes it better. Like, her songs are better. She takes your songs and she makes them better. What song do they have in this one? It was
Oh,
You Are the
wasn't
Music
it
in Me.
Yeah,
And when they
and
sing
she
it,
makes
it's
it
this
proper
very
like snazzy.
intimate thing, and it's about like their relationship and they love each other again, and that's exactly what we got from the first movie. But again, I mean, I don't really mind because I love the song, and that's a
Yeah,
good
it's a
song
great
when they
song.
sing it. But when Sharpay sings it, it's got more flamboyance, it's got more energy to it, more pizzazz. And like Troy's there, he doesn't really know what's going on, but he's singing anyway. And I actually like his performance. Like, we actually get to hear Zac Efron sing, and he's a really good vocalist. He really is.
Yeah.
And I like Sharpay's rendition of that song a lot more because it is more high energy and it does get you into it a bit more. I really like it.
Yeah, it's really good. Something cool about the film is when they were making it, they let a lot of like the fans of the first film vote. I think it was online to like choose some small details of the film, like the t-shirt slogans are on Chad's shirts, what would be written on the blackboard during the first song, and the type of sandwiches that Troy and Gabriella eat on their picnic, and also like fans voted for Miley Cyrus to have a little cameo in the film as well. I think it's cool that they let like fans have some sort of influence on the film, even if it was in like small details like that.
That is nice. Yeah. Just a shame that the movie isn't the best, story-wise at least.
Yeah, it was a massive success though. Apparently, it like was not only the highest rated Disney Channel original movie, it like got the highest ratings of any one singular thing in American cable history at that point.
Yeah, because
That's
they're almost
mad.
hyped. Everyone's
Yeah,
hyped
it's like-
for a new High School Musical.
On its like premiere night, it got 17.6 million viewers, which is ridiculous numbers.
Especially back in, what, 2007?
2007.
Yeah. I think, should we get on to ratings for this one?
Yeah. But rating it out of what?
You decide.
Ooh.
Basketballs.
There aren't, well, okay, there are basketballs in this
There are
film.
basketball.
Baseballs.
Baseballs.
There are
Bada bada
baseballs in this
swings.
movie.
Yeah.
Bada bada
Yeah,
swings.
I do enjoy this film. I think it would be so much more entertaining if it was just a lot shorter. There's bits I like more than the first film. I think the music is genuinely fantastic. There's only like 1 or 2 songs I'm not a fan of. It's still fun for the most part. It's just very boring at points because it's just too long. If I was ever to watch the film again, I'd like consciously try and watch the shorter version of it, because an hour 55 minutes or whatever it is for a High School Musical film is just way too much. And I'm going to give it 5 baseballs out of 10.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to watch this movie again. I've gotten pretty much everything that I need to get out of it, unless like somebody who was with me really wanted to watch it. Then I guess I'd watch it again. But I don't know if I'd have like so much fun, but only on the songs, really. That's what keeps me going. Yeah, not the worst thing ever. I didn't really like it though. So yeah, probably give it like a 4 bada swang. Out of 10.
Yeah, I definitely didn't like this film as much as I thought I remembered liking it, which is a bit of a shame because I love the songs in it. The songs are great. The songs are amazing. Yeah, not much else to add to that. I think I'm gonna give it a 6. Mostly for the
Nice. Yes. 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 movies left, or 2 out of 3 movies done. So
yeah. On to the last movie. Do you want to introduce it, Darcy?
Hold on, I don't know anything about it really. Let me get it up for you all. Right.
Neither do I. And
High
I
School
watched
Musical
it.
3.
senior
I just saw my
Yeah, senior
I
year.
just saw my review on it. Fuck's sake! So it came out in 2008, and it's almost graduation day for all of them. And so basically, this whole film is about what they're gonna do after they graduate. So where they're gonna go to college, as they do in America, don't they? And essentially, it's just like what happens with Troy and Gabrielle. Are they gonna stay together? Are they gonna move away? Are they gonna split up? And basically everything that you would think about if you had a high school romance, that kind of thing, like, you know, all the kind of things like, oh, you're going to leave your friends behind, what's going to happen, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it all gets resolved in the end, but
it's just 2 hours of people being confused and scared about what's entailed for their future.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it sucks.
What did we all think about it? My review said boring as fuck, and I laughed because I saw it again.
I wouldn't even say it's a terrible movie. It's just not very good.
It's just boring.
It's really
so
boring.
So boring. No memorable
have to be
songs
2
really,
hours.
bar one. No, it didn't. It really didn't. So there's like, they have nothing to do with like Sharpay, so they're just like, we're gonna force in some conflict with her, where like she gets an assistant who's British, and it turns out that she's evil. Okay. Like they really
Because
had
British
nothing
people are evil.
to do. Like this was made for like cinema as well, so I guess like everybody really wanted to see it in the cinema. It looks disgusting. The color grading is
the colours
atrocious.
are horrible. But you know what? For a cinema movie, right? You would have thought they would have gone over it a little bit more, because like remember the scenes where like they're on the treehouse and you can just see the ropes with the CGI, like the green screen.
You can see blue outlines on the ropes and trees. Like that literally takes up 5-10 minutes to fix, and they just didn't even do that. It feels so rushed.
Didn't.
Every single scene looks so ugly. The coloring is so unnatural. Like it's like somehow super bright and saturated, but really dark at the same time.
Yeah, like everyone's
it makes
drawn
no
to
sense.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it like really looks drab and ugly. Like I think it kind of does look quite representative of a lot of summer blockbusters around about that time. Like a lot of films in the late 2000s, like big budget, like blockbuster movies, do look kind of similar. They did look quite ugly, and it's a shame. It just looks awful. Like especially compared to the first two. Like I know Max, you said you didn't really like how the second film looked. Because it does look quite clean and sterile compared to the first movie, but even compared to that, this looks terrible.
Oh yeah, this one's just ugly, like straight up, just disgusting. Yeah. Even bright colours don't look bright.
I don't even know if I would say that I hate the way the second movie looks, but like I just prefer the first movie's look so much more, you know. And in this, it's just like It's like they edited it in fucking Movie Maker or something. It looks disgusting. Honestly, it's like they picked a filter and they were like, "Yeah, that's fine." I don't know. Like they're like on the roof and like just the sky grey and like none of the colours pop. Like in the first movie, there's so much colour in it because like everything's like really red and like loads of reds and whites because that's the school like logo and banner. And this is like none of that. This looks awful. I don't know. None of the songs are memorable at all, apart from one. But like, I'm just trying to think of it, and apart from like the song that I played for the intro and Scream, I can't remember any of them. And
No.
Scream,
No.
honestly, for like I was so defeated. But then like Scream started, I was like, this is where Scream starts. I hope it's as good as I remember. It is. It's better. It's so good.
It's better.
a fantastic song.
Because like when we mentioned it last week, I was like, "There's that song, isn't it?" And I think me and Max were thinking of the same song because it's the only song that anyone knows, right? But I'm telling you now, it's the only thing that saves this film. It like rejuvenated me for a couple minutes, and I thought, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, it
this
was like a
film's
level up.
bet on it.
It is. I prefer Bet on it a little bit more, but this is like almost there. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's like at a low point where Troy's like like Gabriella's gone. He's so depressed and like he doesn't know what he's gonna do after he leaves school, and it's like this like hugely relatable feeling where it's like just directionless. You don't understand what you're supposed to do with your life, and he breaks into the school and he just sings a song and he like throws himself around the school and like the editing is not like the best. Like there was that one shot where like he's like crawling up the stairs and they realize that he's not in the center, so they cut and then like he is in the center but it's the same shot essentially. That sucks. But like Zac Efron is so into it, and his vocal performance in that, fantastic, really good. I would even say that he's probably improved as a vocalist from the second movie.
Yeah.
But I almost wouldn't say that if not for this song, because all the songs are so unmemorable, apart from Scream.
Yeah. There's a really, really cool part in Scream where he's like singing in the corridor at the school and it starts spinning. That bit looks fantastic. Yeah. Apparently like injured his wrist when filming that bit, because there's a bit where he like jumps down and it's like ridiculously high how far he jumps, and I think he injured his wrist while doing that.
Well, you got to be in it to win it.
Yeah. But it's almost like, why is this song so good and the rest suck? Was it written by someone else? Was it choreographed by someone else? Was it like was it directed by someone else? It's so like weirdly creative and just doesn't really.
Place,
it almost doesn't fit within the movie.
Yeah,
there's like a really sick guitar solo that like works really well in the context of the song. Like on its own, it's like a fine guitar solo. I guess it's not like the best, but within the song itself and within the movie, it's awesome. It's really good.
Yeah. It's like this was the only bit of the film where they really cared, because the rest of the film, it does feel very phoned in. It feels very much like they were like, oh, let's just do another one, I guess. Like, I completely understand why they wanted this to be the final film, because like,
I feel like they got bored, didn't they?
Yeah, I can't imagine them ever doing another movie. Like, I feel like it wouldn't work at all, because they've done everything you can do with these characters and this story.
Yeah, and you got to think about it this way as well. Like, it's not even they took a break from the films and, like, you know, took some time away to, like, you know, make scripts, come up with ideas. They literally shot them one after the other. Like, that must be so boring.
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense why you would do that, because if you wait too long, then the craze like will die down. I feel like that's the problem that these new Avatar sequels are going to have, where the first film came out like 12 years ago now, so you're going to get another one and no one's going to give a shit. And that's the problem you have with waiting a while to work on things, so it makes sense why they'll just shit them out like a year after the last one. But it does really, it goes against the movie and it doesn't work at all. I think if they worked a bit longer on the film, it would be so much better. This one especially. The second one I definitely think probably needed a bit more time, but this one really needed more time.
Yeah, for a cinematic release, I would ask for my money back. It's not good.
There's also this weird thing they do where, like, Gabriella goes away, like, in the middle of the academic year to, like, university for some reason. She's like, I'm so smart that I'm going to university now before the academic year, before I've even graduated. So that I was like, what? And then, like, they, like, Troy and Gabriella, like, almost break up because, like the relationship is so frayed and, like, they don't see each other now. And then, like, their friends are telling them, there's a weird scene where they're like, oh, it's just a crush. It was just a relationship. Get over it. There'll be other guys. There'll be other girls. And I'm just like, what? Like, this was the backbone of the movies. What do you mean that these aren't important relationships? Like, this relationship is not important. It was the crux of the first film, at least, and even the second movie to an extent. But, like, why are you telling us now? Like, why do their friends not know how serious they are about each other? They've only been together for 3 years.
Yeah, so yeah, like 3 years just isn't like a lot of time or something. They go, oh, it's only been 3 years. You'll meet other people. Okay.
It's so stupid. Like, what? I was like groaning. Like, what do you mean? And the writers just don't care, it feels. There's like this weird forced dynamic between Ryan and Kelsey, the pianist, and like nothing was set up with them beforehand, but they're like, these guys are romantic sort of with each other, but not like explicitly romantic, but maybe like, we have to deter people from thinking that Ryan is gay, even though like
anything to stop that.
Yeah, it makes no sense because apparently Lucas Grable and the director, like when they were making the first movie, they both agreed with each other that the character was gay. They had like, apparently they did shoot scenes where he like very obviously had a crush on one of the other characters, but Disney made them cut them out. And apparently in this one, they pushed really hard to have him come out as gay in the film, and Disney were like, no, but you got to have him get with another person, I guess. Like, even I think it was the director came out and said that he believed that it was just like a phase and eventually he would actually come out.
Of course it was. Have it right. Look at Ryan. Tell me again. I just don't understand this whole... I just didn't get it. Like, just don't bother putting him with anyone. If you're not going to let him come out, just don't force him to be with someone who he never even spoke to.
Yeah, it's not even like it makes sense, like the relationship. It's just out of nowhere.
No context.
I don't think they even spend enough time to developing it or anything. It's just they kind of show it in a few scenes and it's like, what is the point in this? It's just adding time when it doesn't need to be there.
It's a shame.
It's
it really is a shame because Lucas Grable, like, as bad as this movie is, he always puts on a really good performance in these movies. He's so into the character, you can tell he cares so much.
Yeah, and I like the character of Kelsey as well. I think they're both really likable characters. It's just a shame that it was kind of forced.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't have like too much to say about this movie because it was so one-note and boring.
So boring.
It was weirdly sexual in a way. I don't know if you guys found that. It was weirdly sexual with like a lot of like weird shots of like Ashley Tisdale from like behind. Or,
oh
like,
yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
Like, what? Why are you doing this?
I don't know. There was the opening of the film is so bad. There's a bit where they're like singing this song while playing this basketball games like called Last Chance, I think the song is. There's loads of really weird auto-tune effects. And there was a bit where all of us burst out laughing where there's like complete silence and then Gabriella just stands up in the middle of a crowd and yells Troy. It was so funny.
I forgot about that. That was like the fun. She was like, Troy!
Yeah, like singing it. Troy!
It was
What the hell is happening?
How did I
actually
forget
don't
that was
mind
amazing.
that song. Like, as far as like the songs went in those movies, that one was probably one of the memorable ones. Not great, but like slightly memorable. Like I can remember what it was, whereas the rest of them, apart from Scream, I can't.
What about The Boys Are Back?
That I remember.
Oh, that was dang.
The
That was
funniest
epic.
bit in the film. That was so bad.
It was so weird.
Yeah, it's like a bit where what is it? It's the guys, they're in this like this like scrapyard or something. It's like a outside garage sort of thing. And they're talking about growing old, and they're like, remember when we were kids and we come in and we play superheroes and stuff? And the whole song's about that, and they're like pretending to be superheroes again, and it's got them as a kid, and they're just like jumping around. And although like the choreography and everything is good, the song is so bad, and it's just hilarious.
I don't
That's
remember
like-
it really.
Oh, that's another instance of like, yeah, Troy's dad just gave him this truck. Well, okay.
Yeah.
No, but I'm not.
Yeah, they're
I'm not
like
rich like
fixing it
Sharpay.
together, and he's like, I hope you like this truck because it's yours.
Yeah, it sucked. Like, honestly, he didn't really have to earn it.
No.
Doesn't make any money.
I think apart from that, like, the rest of the songs are just very, very forgettable. I think that's the only song I'd like flat out say is bad. The rest of it I just think is just very boring. There's like, the songs don't really leave any impact on me at all. Although I like Scream a lot, and I do actually quite like the closing song, the High School Musical song at the end. I think that's a pretty good one. It's like the only closing song to any of these films I enjoyed.
Yeah, it was decent. Just to think, like a lot of the songs, they're like radio songs, like songs you'd hear on the radio. They're very one note and boring. Not very memorable. Too highly produced.
They submitted all the songs to be eligible for nomination at the Oscars that year. Obviously, none of them were.
No.
I wonder why.
They did perform Last Chance at the ceremony, though.
Oh, yeah. That must have been epic.
Yeah,
that must have been awesome. Keep saying epic. I say it too much. I'm sorry. I didn't get a lot from like Troy and Gabriella in this one. I don't know if I mentioned it.
No, their relationship sucked in this film. There was no chemistry at all.
None.
God damn it. Movie sucks. I want to go on to the ratings. I'm bored of this. I don't want to talk about this movie anymore.
Yeah, I've literally gone through all. Actually, I've got one more bit of trivia that I found kind of funny. Apparently, the film was originally going to be called Haunted High School Musical. It was going to be a Halloween movie.
That would have been better, I reckon.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Would have been more entertaining, at least.
Oh, that's kind of what I meant anyway.
It would have been different, I guess, but I don't know.
Probably would have been like just really ridiculously bad. Instead of just boring bad like this is.
Yeah, it's boring bad.
Also, they at the end there's like a bit where they're like at their graduation ceremony and they're all coming forward and saying, my name is yada yada yada, I'm going to be going to this university and studying this. And Gabriella comes out and she says she's studying law, but like they never hint at her possibly doing that at all. Like they always hint at her being like a science geek, like being like into maths and stuff. Now she's going into law. It just comes out of nowhere.
So stupid. Could have said biology. Could have said literally anything to do with science. But no law. Okay, great.
Okay, let's get to the ratings then.
Yeah.
What are we going to rate this one out of?
You decide.
Let's rate this out of boys. For the boys are back.
Okay.
Yeah, this film isn't very good at all. It's very, very boring. I didn't get anything out of it. I barely remember the film. We only watched it a couple of days ago. It's a shame that the trilogy ended out this way. We started off so well, and it just kind of got worse and worse as it went on. I'm going to give it 4 boys out of 10.
Yeah, this movie's disappointing and boring and forgot all about it immediately. But Scream is awesome, and I love that song so much. And I've just been bopping to it over the weekend. Really like it. And yeah, I don't know, just lame. I'm not going to watch it ever again. I'm only ever going to listen to Scream. 3 boys out of 10.
Boring as fuck. 4 out of 10.
Nice. So we got one more film to briefly bring up.
Oh, Jesus. The best one of them all.
So before we end the episode, I thought we'd talk about the only film in the High School Musical extended universe, Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure. It's a spin-off movie from 2011. Unlike the first 2 that were like straight to TV films, this was straight to DVD. Directed by Michael Lembeck, who also did Santa Claus 2 and 3 and The Tooth Fairy, so he's a great director. This is a film where Sharpay, I guess she didn't go to Albuquerque to study performing arts like she said she was going to in the third film, because she's like performing at a charity gala with her dog Boy, and she gets like seen by some talent scout. So she sets off to New York City expecting to be put on Broadway. When she gets there, she finds out that they just wanted her dog to be in this show because it's a show about dogs. So like she's like, it's up to her dog and another dog. They're trying to compete to get the role in this play. She also like becomes friends with this guy called Peyton, who's a filmmaker or something. I don't know. This film doesn't really have much of a plot.
He was a student, wasn't he? Making like a student film. Yeah.
What do we all think of this amazing movie?
Heart-wrenching.
Brought many tears to my eye.
Yeah. It's funny that they like didn't tell her that it was for the dog. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
They did in the emails, but she didn't read them.
Oh, right. Well, even so, like that first interaction, like, we love you, like we're gonna, like you can come here. It's like, they haven't mentioned the dog really.
No. So it does feel very contrived.
As does the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's just...
There was no need for this.
No, there was no need for it. I like Sharpay as a character, but I don't think she's very good in this, because at least she's like a background character in those High School Musical movies. Now she's like the center of attention, like everything you hate about her in those movies. It's like brought to the forefront, and you're supposed to care about her, even though she's like super rich and spoiled, and it's like, oh, she just wants to be an actor. It's like, okay, but like, who cares? Because like, she's already super rich. Like, who cares what if she doesn't get to do what she really wants to do? Like, Ryan's not even in this. What's the point?
No, he filmed like a cameo that was put in when they showed the film on Disney Channel like a month after it came out on DVD and Blu-ray. They put in this extra scene where he comes back, but obviously it's not on Disney Plus. It's not as a bonus feature on anything anymore. So that scene's just kind of vanished.
That's absolute horseshit, because Ryan made Ryan and Chuck. No, he didn't. But I like them two together. I thought it would have been a film about them two.
It would have been nice. Even just to like see him briefly, know what he's up to, would have been nice.
Oh, he's too busy being at Juilliard.
Finally being gay. That's why Disney didn't want him in it.
Probably, yeah.
Of sucking dick. Living the real life. Yeah. Not Sharpay though. It's like, oh my god. Now I'm on the street with my bags. Someone to get my bags for me. It's like, this guy who comes up to her, who's like a student filmmaker, Peyton, he's so on board with like whatever she's got going on. He's like, you are the star of my movie now. I'm going to follow you around, even though like I was supposed to anyway. It's like, why does he like her? Like, why? Like from the offset, she's like a very unlikable person. She's just very spoiled and just very unrelatable. Like, why does he cling to her so much?
Yeah, it's also like really convenient because Sharpay's mum, before she moves, Sharpay's mum's like, oh, my friend's got a son who's out in New York City at the moment studying film, and they just happen to meet in the middle of the street, like in one of the most overly populated cities in the world. They just happen to bump into each other.
It was so... it was just pandering, really, innit? It's like, oh yeah, we'll just pop this in. Convenience to the plot. It's just boring.
Yeah. And this isn't even a musical. No.
Do you know what? That upset me and Chris very much when we saw this, because Letterboxd said it was a musical or something, and we were like, oh, sick, a musical. There's one song in there, that song at the beginning.
Two. There's one when she performs at the end.
Oh yeah, that's all shit though.
I watched this film when it came out and had no recollection of it, but I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this isn't a musical, but because it was like labelled on Letterboxd under music, I was like, oh, okay, maybe it actually is. And obviously there was a song right at the beginning, so I was like, okay, this will at least keep it interesting, but it's not a musical at all.
Yeah, and even when there are songs, the dubbing is so horrendously blatant And it takes me out of the movie completely. Like, she's not even, like, moving her mouth barely. She's like, it's supposed to be this, like, huge belter of a song, but she's barely moving her lips. What's
And
all
the
this
songs
about?
suck. I don't remember the
songs
songs
suck.
at all.
No, me neither. I don't remember them. I don't really remember this movie. I remember there being, like, a cover of Justin Bieber's Baby.
And Walking on Sunshine, that's in there at one point.
Is it?
Yeah.
For some reason, another note I've got written down, like, it really annoyed me at the beginning of the film, because one of the subplots of the film is that her dad, like, she's like, oh, I've been offered this, like, dream job on Broadway, this incredible opportunity, and her dad just goes, you're not ready to do that, and he's like, won't let her do it. And he has to she has to convince him to, like, let her do this, like, incredible opportunity that, like, is gonna give her her dream. It just makes no sense. And, like, there's that subplot where he's like, okay, you've got a month. If you don't get this dream job and do really well, then you've got to come back and work at the country club. And that's, like, brought up maybe once or twice throughout the whole film. It's so stupid.
It's such a, like, contrived plot point as well. I've seen that a million other times in a million other movies.
Yeah, she doesn't really get the dream job till right at the end, and he never, like, calls her back or anything.
And even then, it's by luck.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it just happens that the lead actor is, like, just a dick. She's just the worst person ever, thank God. If she was actually a decent human being, you never would have gotten the part.
Yeah, exactly. I predicted exactly how the film would end, like, super early in. Because it's so obvious what's going to happen. It's so formulaic. It feels very by the numbers. There's just nothing really good about the movie at all.
Yeah. I didn't really even like the dogs, like, being honest.
Yeah.
And you guys love the dogs, but it's like whatever.
I
They're
didn't
just
love
dogs.
them. Thought they were kind of cute. Darcy was the one that was in love with them. Like, any time they were together.
Dogs?
Yeah, the dogs, like, have these two dogs fall in love. And anytime you see them, Darcy was, like, squealing. She was, like, in love with these dogs.
Oh, I think they're so cute together. All right, I totally understand. It's a stupid movie.
Do you think that they're cute together, or do you only think that because of how they shot it and the music that was used?
It's cute because they're two dogs.
Yep.
That's really about it, to be honest. I think it was just the fact that there were two dogs. One is a bloody Cavalier Spaniel, which is like my favourite dog breed. Well, one of my favourite dog breeds. And then you got this ugly Yorkie, but because they're two dogs, they're cute. And I liked it.
Yeah.
But that was the only thing that I liked about this film.
There was
the
a
cute
line
dogs.
in the opening song that made me laugh so much, where she sings, I've got a poochie in my Gucci. I don't know.
Oh,
why I
yeah.
found
That was
funny.
like, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I actually choked. I'm pretty sure I was like eating something and I just went, oh no, I was drinking tea. And I was like, she nearly got me. Like, I nearly spat out my tea.
A lot of this is about, like, her friendship with her dog, Boy.
Yeah.
Boy! And I'm like, oh, this sucks. Like, you don't even, like, get that she loves the dog so much. Like, oh, I'm going to pull out, like, a really old Italian movie from 1952. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called Umberto De. That's a way better movie about, like, the relationship between, like, people and animals and, like, pets. And that's kind of almost the vibe I got from this, where it was trying to portray something like that, but it didn't get any of it.
Yeah. If you want a better film about people having friendship with animals, just watch The Cat in the Hat. That's a great movie.
No. Oh, look what you've done to Max. I can't believe you've done this.
Drinking some water. Ooh.
And on that note, I think it's time to move to the rating.
I
So
do
we're
as
done,
well.
yeah.
I agree.
We can't do
Should
it
we
out of
rate
boys.
this out of boys?
Boy.
No, we already did it out of boys. We already did the second movie out of boys.
Yeah. Out of poochies.
Out of poochies. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. This film sucks. I'd never watch it again. Yeah. I guess I give it... I've got it rated on Letterboxd as a 3 out of 10.
A 3?
But I feel like that's quite high. Maybe a 2. 2 poochies out of 10. I think I only put it at 3 because I was like looking at other films that I've given similar ratings. And I was like, oh, this is like better than some of these and like worse than some of the others. And I don't know.
Yeah. I was having a miserable time watching this, and I had to watch it alone as well. So that really got to me. I honestly, it was like purgatory or something. It went on forever. It sucks so much. 1 Poochie out of 10.
I'm just a bit upset in general because when Chris was like, oh, we should watch the Sharpay movie, and I was actually on board. I was like, yeah. It might be alright, it might be fun. And it wasn't fun. Was it 2 Poochies or 2 Gucci's or 2 Poochies and a Gucci?
It was Poochie.
2 Poochies.
Yeah, everyone's favourite itchy and scratchy character.
Yeah, how about that?
Hi, Mommy's Poochie.
Well, there we go. That's Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure. Best movie in the world.
All right.
And that's it. That's our High School Musical Marathon. We did it.
It
That
is.
was great.
Yeah, that was longer than I was expecting this episode to go on for.
I know, it's been like nearly 3 hours. I don't know what's going on with you guys.
It's just been over 2 hours, but
Yeah.
Right, you know what? Yeah, just spin the fucking wheel, Chris.
Spin the wheel. We got the next marathon to do.
I always get so nervous.
same.
doing
I don't believe it's going to be quite as good as the High School Musical movies. Kind of like that's the bar.
Oh, what the fuck?
this.
What is it?
Russian movies.
I don't know any Russian movies.
Best get cooking.
Yeah, best get thinking. So what did we want to do with this? Are we all going to pick a film, or are we going to go on Letterboxd and like pick the 3 most popular films from Russia?
I think we should just all pick on our own 1 Russian movie that we want to watch.
Is it... Right, this is going to sound really weird. But is this movie set in Russia or movies that are Russian?
Movies that are Russian.
From Russia, yeah.
Right. Okay. I don't know.
I've got mine. I've got mine already picked out. I already know what mine's going to be. Well, that's that then. Russian movies for the next one.
I'm bamboozled.
I was kind
mate.
of hoping for like. I didn't really want to do like a genre one, because we already did like fantasy the last episode. But yeah, that's the High School Musical marathon done. Russian movies for the next one. Sunday Movie Marathon episode 39. We do, of course, have our social media accounts. Perhaps you're already listening to this on YouTube, but if you're not, our YouTube is the Sunday Movie Marathon. Subscribe. Twitter is at Sunday Movie Pod. Facebook is at Sunday Movie Marathon, and Letterboxd is at Sunday MM. Thank you so much for listening this week. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, even though it was really long, but we were warranted.
High School Musical forever.
High School Musical forever.
Wahoo!
Forever and ever. Bet on it.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.